Post that, I started working and I did my MCA from IGNOU. Can go about to 80, 90 lakhs as in TC for it.
Seems like almost close to a decade, years of experience.
Back then, we did not had data engineering as in role profile. And there are 4 to 5 in general rounds which happen in the on-site interview. You should focus on the coding piece. It is a decision maker for you. I interviewed for the Facebook for London office. He has written a book called The Data Warehousing Toolkit.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Learning Bridge. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. So I am back with another amazing and really inspiring video for all the data engineers out there. So in this podcast, I have invited an experienced data engineer who has recently joined Google for the data engineer role and also coming from the MCA background. So this podcast will definitely inspire all those folks who are coming from the BCA, B.SC, MCA background. So today he will be sharing everything about the data engineering and Google interview experience, because when he started his career, data engineering was not even in the picture. He will explain that how did even he move into the data engineering, why this profile has become so much important for all the good product based companies, the hiring process of Google for the data engineer role, the complete interview experience including the rounds, topics, questions, and the important roadmap and resources to crack these kind of companies, and plus data engineer salary in Google and FAANG type of companies. So that's why so many things for the data engineers to learn from this video, and definitely it will inspire for sure. So make sure you watch this podcast till the very end and spread this video, like this video in big numbers, 1000, 2000, 3000, how many thousands likes you want to give, and let me know in the comment section that apart from the FAANG level companies, which one is your favorite to work with for the data engineer role. And if you're watching any of my video for the first time and liking this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. And there is an amazing announcement for you all before the Mother's Day. I'm pretty sure you guys know about the Coding Ninjas platform. If not, then Coding Ninjas is India's largest coding educational platform, which has taught more than 50,000 students so far. They are offering some amazing and extensive courses for the DSA, competitive programming, interview preparation, web development, analytics and data science, and Android development. Their content is actually prepared by the IITians and Stanford alumni. And the best thing is that instant one-to-one doubt resolution, and for each course like practical learnings with 100 plus problems and 10 plus projects in each course. Their students are actually placed in all type of top tech companies including FAANG. So today 7th of May, Coding Ninjas is running a very special campaign for the Mother's Day, where you will be getting the 40% discount as a early bird for any type of the courses. They have launched a very new course that is in the data analytics, and very amazing for all those folks who are aspiring data professionals, want to move in profiles like the data engineering, data analyst, business analyst. All the companies including the FAANG, all tech giants, they are hiring aggressively for all the data related job profiles. So this is the best time for you. So here you can see the listing of curriculum for the analyst role, like working with the MS Excel, MySQL, Python, Tableau, machine learning concept. So from here you can try out the things for free, and if it looks satisfactory, then you can enroll. So once you will click on this try for free, you will be landed on this page. So this syllabus is definitely pretty good, starting from the analytics and working with the COVID data set in the Excel, different case studies, then the Python part, completing all its important concepts, and even the data analysis libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, and then moving to the Tableau part and the machine learning thing. So everything has been covered here for you, and you can see your progress. 25% you will be getting using the link which is in the description for this data analytics course. Today on the 7th of May, you can get the total discount of 40 plus 25%, that is 65%. So hurry up, avail this opportunity and enroll yourself in the data analytics course as soon as possible. All right, so thank you so much Rohit for joining my podcast. And guys, again, I'm very excited. I am going to have a discussion with the fellow data engineer, and which is always a great experience, and that too when Rohit is working at Google. So Rohit, it would be really great if you can introduce yourself to the audience and little bit about your past experience, background, and trust me, this podcast is going to be really helpful for all the aspiring data engineers. So Rohit.
Thank you. Thanks, Shashank, for having me introduced to your audience and giving me a chance to share my experience. So yeah, I'll start with my education background. I have done Bachelor's in Computer Science Honors from University of Delhi. So it is a 3-year curriculum. The curriculum is equivalent to the any B.Tech degree of Computer Science, but yeah, we completed in 3 years. And post that, I started working and I did my MCA from IGNOU, which was alongside my job. And I have close to 9 years of experience, and luckily throughout my experience has been in the data related role itself, from the first job to the place where I'm working right now, which is at Google. So the roles which I have worked on is majorly related to data engineering. And primarily in the legacy world, it was called an ETL role, where we can talk more about in the coming questions. But yeah, my background is totally into data related roles using SQL, programming language, and all the reporting and analytics stuff right now.
Really great, Rohit, and seems like almost close to a decade years of experience, and that's why this podcast will help lots of aspiring data engineers, including me, because I'm just having 5 years of experience. So I'll definitely learn a few things from you as well. So make sure you watch this video till the very end, and also we can help a lot to the data community by liking this video in big numbers so that this can reach to maximum number of people. How did you start your career in data engineering? Because you completed your graduation in 2013, and at that time, I personally know at least, right? So that time data engineering profile was not that popular, or I don't think so. Like even people would have heard about it. What is data engineering or something? So I'm really curious to know about that.
Sure. Yeah, you are absolutely right, Shashank. When I started off my journey as in professional world, I for a year worked in somewhat kind of a technical and a non-technical role where we used to support the data migration for an organization, right? Okay. And as I evolved into my role, as I talked previously too, back then we did not had data engineering as in role profile during that amount of time. We used to have the ETL tool. With ETL, the full form of it, extract, transform and load. So we used to extract data from a source, transform it and load it into the target system. And there were very proprietary tools present in the market down that time. And if you have heard about it, one is Informatica. There is a talent which is up there in the market right now, and Microsoft also has SSIS as in its data engineering suite, right? So I used to work on Informatica there. There were the ETL roles, ETL developer, ETL testing, and the other ones. And I worked on Informatica, I would say, for about three to 4 years after I started off my career right down there. And it has been lately into the years that the data engineering had come into place, and people have started taking it as a career option, which is equivalent to, I wouldn't say it is totally equivalent to, but yeah, it is going to be an equivalent to a full stack in software engineering role in the coming times.
And any experienced data engineer who's watching this podcast, if you had a different journey, let's say you worked on something different 6-7 years back, so let me know in the comments. In 9 years of your experience, how much data engineering field has grown? So why is it very much important nowadays, the data engineering role, the data engineering jobs and profiles? Also, what's your thought regarding data engineering job opportunities starting from 2018? Because that was the time I think data engineering was getting a lot of hype. That's the time I got to know about the data engineering.
And if you go back 4 to 5 years in your time, you have seen the adoption of internet, how drastic it has increased. Like you would have seen by yourself, you wouldn't used to shop from Amazon or Flipkart during your initial engineering days or when you started off your career, but as you move later into time, the adoption of internet increases and there is more of this data which is being generated, and there are other services which we are totally relying on with the help of internet. And what they are doing at the back end is they are generating humongous amount of data. So you don't know in your daily routine, I mean, even if we are doing this podcast, even if we are chatting on the WhatsApp, or even if we are talking on the phone, there is a lot of data which we are generating and we don't know actually what that data is. Now, relating it to data engineering role, why it came important, because and this data needs to be bring it into some actionable format. So that is where data engineer comes in the place. He works on that raw data and bring it to a actionable format which is as per the requirement of the platform. So let's suppose you are working with an internal stakeholder, they want to see the churn rate, or they want to see the repeat customers which are coming for the platform. That is where engineer would come in, data engineer specifically would come in. He would read the data either from a streaming platform, either from a batch job, using the open source languages, Python, Java, Scala, Spark, any which have started growing a lot in this data engineering space. And then he'll bring that into cloud data warehousing solutions, let it be the AWS, Snowflake, and the other one. The part of bringing the raw data format into the actionable one, it is being done by the data engineer.
So thanks Rohit for explaining it, and also by giving a choice, let's say now you know the popularity of data engineering. So among the data engineer role or data scientist, data analyst, machine learning engineer, which one you are preferring, and you can even explain why do you like it much. This is the most important part of the entire podcast. Most of the folks are definitely waiting how Google recruits for the data engineer, what's the entire process and all. So we can definitely help you in that, and it would be really great, Rohit, if you can share your interview experience for the data engineer role at Google, at your experience, what kind of rounds will be there, how many rounds will be there, and not asking exact questions, but at least you can highlight the topics which were asked in each interview round at Google.
So yeah, let's talk about more from the FAANG perspective, which the current people are more fancy to join in, seeing the organization, seeing the quality of work, and seeing the work life which they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll talk about my experience also. I got to chance interview at all FAANG organizations. I interviewed for the Facebook for London office, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google. So to talk about interview, basically interview starts with a technical screening where not a recruiter but someone from the team or a peer team would try to judge you based on your skill set on the three demographics which are there in the data engineering. One, SQL, which is the bread and butter of a data engineer.
Yeah.
The second is any coding language, either it be Python, either it be Java or Scala or any other there. And the third is somewhat your business knowledge or data warehousing or data modeling skills which a person should have. Okay. So these are the three things that happens in the initial technical screening. And to talk about Google, it was the same here also, where a mix of questions would be asked in your initial round. Once we clear the technical screen, which can happen, which happens in every organization, then we are moved to an on-site interview. For me, it was an online on-site, but yeah, I would have loved if I would have got the chance to visit the Google office during the initial days itself, right? Yeah. So yeah, and there are 4 to 5 in general rounds which happen in the on-site interview. 2 to 3 are your role-related rounds, and from them, in Google, one was specifically the coding round which I had. It is similar to SWE kind of a coding round where you are given a problem statement and you try to solve that problem initially while discussing it with the interviewer, and then code it, and then you improvise it for the time complexity and the space complexity. As an advice, I won't say it is sufficient, but as an advice, I saw that practicing from the lead code helped me a lot to solve such kind of coding interviews, which was similar in Microsoft and Facebook, and even in the Google, and also in the Amazon, as you would also know, coming from the same organization, right? Yeah. Then after that, it comes 2 to 3 role-related interviews where your SQL, your data-related knowledge has been checked upon. In the SQL, there are the complex to higher complexity kind of SQL problems, and you try to provide the solution, an efficient solution. And in the role-related knowledge, the other part is the data part, where there is data modeling, data warehousing kind of things which are required. And also, as we know, in the software engineering role, there are system design. In data engineering role, they do not ask you to design an end-to-end system, but they try to relate it with the data. That they would ask you to design a data application where there is a front end which you are making for a quality project, how you would take the data files, how you would store it, and how you would improvise it. And also, they would give you a problem that we are launching an e-commerce platform. How would you devise the specific returns? There is a process for returns. How would you devise the data model for the returns process into it? So that you have to take dimensions, you have to take attributes, you have to design it from the OLTP system, and if need arises, you from the analytical system also, and solve a couple of SQL queries on top of it, which is common in Facebook and Amazon related interviews.
Okay.
Right. Now, these are 4 to 5 rounds in general which happen, but some organization, if they haven't got a clear judgment from your interview, they would try to ask for more rounds. They do not want to lose good candidate, but also they do not want to rush into making hiring without evaluating the candidate from company perspective, because the organization just don't want you to succeed in your current role, but they want you to succeed in the complete organization. If later 3 to 4 years you want to switch to some other team, you should be capable enough of making that switch, and most importantly should succeed in your role right down there.
Good idea about the interview process, and I'm pretty sure, Rohit, this is gonna help a lot of folks who are at least targeting the FAANG level companies for the data engineer role. So take a note of all these points, guys, and you can prepare accordingly. And even let's say any of you who appeared in the FAANG interviews latest, and that for the data engineer role, you can even share your interview experience in the comments. It will help the other aspiring data engineers. So at least for the experienced data engineers with more than 5 years of experience, how much coding is important for them to crack good product based companies? Do companies like ask coding questions for the data engineer role, like the combine? Because people have mixed opinions based on their experiences. Some companies would have asked the DSA questions, some wouldn't have. So what's your take on that? And also it would be helpful if you can define the difficulty level of coding questions based on what are some general topics for the DSA they should prepare on?
So yeah, I even get this question a lot. I mean, the friends who are there, they want to know that if the coding is primarily been asked into the interview. If you are targeting a FAANG organization and you are the Uber or other good startups which are there, you should focus on the coding piece. It is, I would say, important. It is a decision maker for you. So let's suppose there are 10 candidates in the interview, 7 of them don't know the coding, just 3 of them know. So it would give you an edge with the 3 candidates other than the 7-1, because in the data engineering role, the programming is a must thing to have. I mean, for now you can write the ETL pipelines into the SQL, but if you are being asked to make a custom data pipeline, you would need that coding and that mindset to do an efficient coding, not just language specific. That is why all the FAANG organization does not specifically focus on one programming language. They want a person should have a programming mindset where he can learn the syntax, which is just a matter of time, but the concept, the OOPS concept and the other data structures which are there, he should be able to think on that dimension and also write the things right on there. And coming to the second part, which is the topic that you want to know. So I would try to say that it shouldn't be as difficult as SWE, but it shouldn't be as easy that you can just think of it and then go to the interview. Some of the basic concepts like arrays, list, maps and the others which are the starting level, the are good to have knowledges of trees, hashing and the other things. The dynamic programming is the one area which you should know. I mean, it is asked in multiple in some of the interviews. And to talk about next level of it, you should be versed in the time and space complexity, because in an interview, let's suppose it's your good day, you got a question that which you are able to answer in the initial, you are able to write the function for it, and now what next interviewer, because interviewer is there to test your skills. It can happen that you already know that question and came with that for you, but next what the question would come in, how would you improvise this solution, what is the time complexity, what is the space complexity, and if you had this kind of a knowledge, it would give you edge with the other competitive candidates which they have, and it would efficiently and definitely make an hiring decision for you in comparison to the other candidates. So what you can do is you can do a lot better in yourself rather than thinking how to minimize it. You should start with the basic, know the data structure, try to solve lead code problems. And yes, coming back to your question also, what kind of lead code problem? So I started with the easy, I moved on to medium, I got exhausted at the medium. The hard ones are just out of my understanding at that amount of time, but yeah, as I gradually started practicing, so there, I won't say it is a direct hit, but yeah, there are somewhat 5 to 6 kind of ways to solve any programming question. Once you are well there, you try to write or try to think on that perspective, and you can think for the hard also. Frankly, I was not well versed with the hard, but yeah, the easy and medium ones are the must for a data engineer to learn about, and he should be prepared with those in an interview.
Based on the Rohit's experience, I think you should also prepare in the same direction, and I also have the same experience for you all to share, that you should maintain the easy medium level of understanding for the DSA things. You have interviewed with some of the good product based companies, although you talked about the DSA, how much important, what level of preparation, but apart from the DSA, there are a lot of things. And based on experience, what you think, right? When somebody is preparing, at least the experienced candidates, they are preparing for good tech companies, what all things they should focus on? Like you can probably talk about 4 or 5 important things and how they should actually prepare for it.
So yeah, I would try to start with your current role. Basically, if you are an experienced candidate, you should know your current role, your current team, your current project from end-to-end perspective. So in big organization, what it happens is you do not work from end-to-end perspective on a project, but you work on a small component of it. Like if it is a data flow change, you might be working on a streaming part for it. You might be working for creating the warehouse, or you might be working for creating the reporting solution right on there. But if you have the knowledge from end-to-end perspective, which is your first must-do homework from your current role, a candidate, an experienced candidate should focus on that. Second is the SQL. As I previously also talked about, it is the bread and butter for any data related role.
Yeah.
You should be versed with the SQL. You should be versed with how efficiently you can write the SQL, how the backend engine of the SQL works, what are the orders for which the logic works, and how you can write I won't say a smaller line of code, but yeah, efficient code which is quite understandable, that any other person who comes on board into your team, if he looks at the code, he should be able to make out the logic by himself rather than you explaining or reiterating that wheel again. So SQL is the second stuff. The third is the data modeling and data warehousing. These are the most neglected part when the candidates prepare for the interview. They say that we know programming language, we know SQL, we know our current project, but these data modeling and data warehousing plays an important role. Let's say that you are put in a project where you want to start from working from the scratch. Now there this theoretical knowledge would come in, where you would be able to make better decisions on the design elements, how the overall architecture of your project looks like, where everyone aspires to work into a higher senior level role, where they design the things, they implement the things, and also take all these trade-off decisions. So data modeling and data warehousing is also one of the important aspects for a data engineer. And the last, I won't say it is the must to have, but it is good to have, is the reporting or visualization. As you know, data engineering is all about making the data available, and the final result for that data should be to make some actionable insight from that data. It shouldn't be that you brought up the data from streaming or any of the source, you landed into a data warehouse. But providing some solution which business actually uses to make efficient decision is the visualization part of it. Now, you should know not just one tool. I would say a Tableau or any other tool which is up there in the market, but you should know the concept of how the visualization or reporting solution should come into the place, and then you should be able to present that. You should be able to know what kind of a visualization that you do go. I know it is lot for a candidate to prepare on, but he can prioritize his skill set and can cover if it has due amount of time.
Very beautiful and very informative insights for the experienced candidate for sure. So just listen these words and whatever Rohit has shared to you, like how you can crack the data engineer role at Google kind of companies for the experience role. And you can let me know in the comment section if you have watched the podcast till this moment, whether these experiences are helpful for you, what Rohit has shared. Are you able to connect with that or not? Let me know in the comment section. It would be helpful for me as well, that whether we are going in the right direction. In a short answer, let's say during your preparation, you preferred some resources, right, which always helped you in your preparation and building more like technical understanding. So you can recommend those 4 or 5 resources that would be also helpful for the audience.
So let's start with the coding piece. So as we have talked a lot about it, there is a site called LeetCode. You can start it from there for your data structure and algorithm preparation, and also to practice how the interview questions really look like. Now the next comes is the SQL. For the SQL, I mean, I am assuming if you are from the data engineering or an experienced candidate, you would be having a good knowledge in the SQL. Try to learn more on the analytical functions, the aggregate function, and try to solve the complex problems which are available on the LeetCode. It would give you the thought process which you can apply in every question and try to come up with an efficient solution on top of it. Right. The next is data modeling and data warehousing. So this is the theoretical concept. I know it is too boring to learn about, but there is a very beautiful book written by 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 sir. So 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is the inventor of data warehousing in itself. He has written a book called the Data Warehousing Toolkit. It is around 500 to 600 pages book. Don't get astonished by just seeing the number of pages. You can do smart studies from there, pick up the topics, try to make notes when you are coming up with the next level of interview that you can refer to. And then there are case studies there also, where you can apply how the data modeling can be applied in specific e-commerce, or let's suppose the ride sharing or the other platforms. Right. And the last is the data engineering principle. For that, Medium is a website which has good content. You can do the open source search of what are the up in data engineering related world right now, and then you can try to focus it on your knowledge to know that what is going on in the industry right now and how you can efficiently make a data engineering pipeline and the others.
I think you guys are also waiting for one important question that is related to the CTC part, and I will definitely ask that question to Rohit. So Rohit, what is the overall CTC range for experienced data engineers in FAANG kind of companies for freshers? And I think CTC part is something which depends on some important factors, right? And here we can only talk about the average, right? Based on our experiences, what number we have seen so far, that we can recommend, and that will give you some idea, at least if you are at this level of experience, what should be your expectation in terms of the CTC from these companies.
So yeah, CTC is the widely asked question, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to see that things for them. It is a lot of fancy things they prepare, they do, but the things which matter is the money that is coming for you, right? So specifically for the FAANG organization, person has to change his mindset just from the cash perspective, right? So in the Indian organization, it is called CTC, where you have a base, where you have a what we call a bonus on top of it. But in FAANG organization, there is a third component which is called stocks. So that is why in FAANG it is not called CTC, it is called TC, which is target compensation, which comprises of your base salary, your bonus on top of it, and the stocks which are vested as per the organization policy. Somewhere it is 0, in Amazon it is different, in Google it is different, in Microsoft and Facebook it is different. But yeah, a person should consider all three factors, not just do an apple to apple comparison of the cash component from his current to the new organization, but he should take in care of all the three things. To talk about the average TC a person can expect in a FAANG organization is a fresher. If he joins in a data engineering role, he can get it from 20-25 as an TC. Okay. I would like to mention that again. And an experienced person of 10 to 12 years of experience can go about to 80-90 lakhs as in TC for it. But yeah, again, that includes your cash, your bonus, and your stocks, which are the RSUs that we call restricted stock unit that vest into your account, and you can majorly do that. Also count this as a hard money. I mean, it is. I give more importance to the TCs because these are the option which are there for you to grow. Your cash would come, you would spend it, but your stocks are always there for you. In your account to grow. So yeah, give that emphasis on the TC part as in complete package rather than the base.
Great. And don't get confused, like 18-19 lakhs as a base. It is like the TC target compensation including stocks. True. But stock is something which is really amazing part. I personally consider if you are joining some good MNCs, well established product based companies, they will always provide you this kind of component. And while doing the negotiation, somehow let's say companies are saying that they cannot increase your base or something, they have a maximum band for it. These are the components, right, where you can definitely negotiate, and companies are willing to do that because stocks are the kind of components which are getting vested years by years. So it is not like the money they need to give you right now, right? So amazing, like some very clear and crisp insights. So very informative session, Rohit. I personally enjoyed each and every information, very meaningful to all the aspiring data engineers who are watching this video. And that's what we had for you guys in this podcast. And I'm pretty sure every information you find it very insightful. If yes, make sure to spread this video, like it in the very big numbers. And also you can share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, what next interview you want me to cover. And from my side and from the audience side, very big thanks to you, Rohit, for giving your time in the weekends and sharing this meaningful information to the audience and helping the data community.
Yeah, it was pleasure sharing my insight. I was also on the other side of table if you talk about 2 to 3 years before trying to gather some insights, trying to gather some views. But yeah, all thanks to the people like you who are taking this initiative of making people aware with all the this stuff, and it can help a lot of person to structure their preparation and also make a good preparation to land up in a good organization. Okay. So yeah, thanks to you, Shashank, also.
So that's what I had for you guys in this video. I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed the entire conversation with Rohit and you would have loved his experience for the Google data engineer role. If yes, then make sure to like this video in big numbers, share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, and if you're watching any of my video for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. I will see you guys in the next weekend with another amazing and inspiring podcast. Till then, just stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your family too.